Bonjour, comment ça va? Oh, that's good.
Chad, how disappointed are you that you're not fighting Daniel Cormier?
I'm not disappointed at all. At first I was a little taken back by it, but no, everything happens for a reason, and maybe I was meant to get out there before that big fight and fight this big fight. You know, Opens is a worthy opponent, you know, one of the top guys in the world. Amazing athlete, and I'm excited for this new challenge.
You sort of insinuated, do you think that maybe his injury wasn't a real injury, or do you think, what's going on there?
It's hard to say whether Daniel, it's hard to say how hurt Daniel is. You know, to this day, I don't think anyone's quite clear on his exact injury, and supposedly there's a really quick turnaround time on the recovery. So, you know, I have my questions.
Mentioned twice, by saying, I'll fight at 2 You're almost 30. Is it getting harder to make that weight? When you're 23, I said, just wait. It's going to get harder and harder.
Yeah.
Is it getting to that point, or are you still good at light heavyweight?
I'm good at light heavyweight. You know, I've gotten a lot more mature, and I've hired a lot of great people to help me, you know, manage life and manage my weight, and you know, so I think I've given myself a few more years at light heavyweight division for sure.
Now, fame is kind of a son of a bitch, because you've done things in your past that regular truck drivers have done, but they didn't get 5,000 Twitters saying I hit your guns. Is it difficult to factor who you are and just your regular life as opposed to the screen time?
No, you know, it's not difficult being out front and in front of a lot of people. You know, it's what I asked for. You know, I'm working really hard to go down as a legend and be one of the best fighters ever, and I know that's going to come with a lot of praise, a lot of scrutiny, and you just got to kind of take it as it comes. You gotta, you know, you gotta have thick skin and be willing to stand the heat.
Jon, what was your, I know you kind of mentioned it on Instagram, but what were your thoughts on watching Rashad Evans go through his loss, and do you feel like that whole beef is kind of behind you? Maybe you guys could, you know, I don't know, maybe even train together again. I kind of thought about that idea of maybe him coming back to Jackson's for another fight.
I think it's safe to say my beef with Rashad is gone. You know, I won that fight when we fought, so if anyone were to have hurt feelings, I would imagine it would be him. Me and Rashad had really great moments before our drama started, and you know, those moments I think me and him will both remember, those good times. As far as Rashad coming down to Jackson's, I think he'd be a tremendous training partner, but at the same time I think he's a little bit too close to Anthony Johnson. I think his loyalty will always be with Anthony over me, and I don't know how much I could trust him to be a training partner in the future. So, yeah.
Jon, yesterday during the open workouts, I don't think I heard OSP's name mentioned once during the scrum. Maybe it was, but
yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah, so I don't know. I know you can't speak for the media, but are you overlooking him at all in this fight?
No, I'm totally not overlooking OSP. You know, OSP has a bunch of first-round finishes. He has great knockout power. Whenever you're fighting someone with great knockout power, you really have to be on point. You got to be on your game. So I'm taking them very seriously. You know, you see me having a lot of fun leading up to the fight. You know, me and my coaches, we goof around and we do a lot of things to keep our mind off the fight. But you know, when the cameras and lights are off, we are studying, we are going over our strategy, we're going over our tactics, and we're taking him extremely seriously for sure.
Jon, what was your reaction the last couple of days when everything that's going on with Conor?
My reaction, to be honest, I haven't really had too much of a reaction. You know, I've been focusing on my fight and you know, focusing on, you know, why I'm here.
Do you think Conor's earned the right to sort of pass on the UFC promotions that he wants to do?
No comment.
Jon, over the last year, a couple of the other big stars in the UFC, Ronda Rousey and Conor, have dealt with losses. Meanwhile, you are, in most people's minds, still undefeated, obviously best pound-for-pound fighter in the sport. How important is it for you to kind of define your legacy as the greatest of all time, the greatest pound-for-pound? I know you've kind of mentioned the pound-for-pound thing. I think that is something you do take pride in.
Yeah, I definitely have a lot of pride in being pound-for-pound #1. I mean, who wouldn't want to be #1 at what they do? So it makes me really happy. It's something that I will train hard to protect. But at the same time, you know, I'm not a guy who fights, you know, not to lose. I fight to win every time. Not only win, but dominate. So yeah.
Jon, fight week, you said, or sorry, just before fight week, you said you were really going to embrace this one and that you're going to enjoy it a bit more than perhaps other fight weeks. What is it about this that's making it particularly special for you? Do you feel like the shackles are off now?
Yeah, you know, this fight week, you know, before I left, I took all this for granted. I took you guys being here for granted. I took the fans for granted, my position in the sport, endorsements. I took it all for granted. And now I'm at a place where I'm just grateful. You know, I'm grateful. You can be annoyed with people asking you questions until you're not getting asked those questions anymore. You know, so now I really am refreshed, and I just see the importance of the whole process, and I'm making a conscious effort to enjoy the whole process.
And how satisfying was it for you to be able to, as you said the other day, save the show by taking this short notice fight, given everything that had happened in the past with 151?
It's been very important for me to get out here and to do something for the fans, for sure. You know, like I said, I felt as if there's been a lot of negative surrounding my name, and I wanted to do something really positive to make the fans happy again, you know, with me, and I feel like this helped a lot.
How difficult for the average fan to see someone get injured and sitting out? We think kind of about it, but for you have the ability to make a complete impact, not only the posters on this wall, but the entire life heavyweight class. How difficult was it for you to sit back and watch the landscape change? And do you think that the landscape has gone further, changed a lot, or do you just jump right back in?
Are you talking about the light heavyweight division?
Yes.
I don't really feel like the landscape has changed too much. There were some interesting fights, you know, Gustafsson losing, DC having the belt, Anthony Johnson right up there in the mix, Glover Teixeira, he's looking great. I don't feel like things have really, you know, it's a hard question to answer. I just believe I'll win this fight, and I'll win my next fight, and I'll be champion again, and then everyone else can figure out who's going to fight me next after that.
Was it difficult to sit back and watch it change hands?
No, not difficult at all. It's just sit back and spectate and enjoy as a fan.
When you were sitting at home with your family, I know you talked about seeing the main events go on without you. That's eventually what got you going again and motivated to get back to work. What other than fighting could you have seen yourself doing?
Oh, what other than fighting? You know, being a trainer, I would love to do that at some point in my life. I would love to have my own martial arts academy in the future. Real estate is something that really intrigues me. And just being a great father, being smart with money, making wise investments, and just raising my daughters up to be extraordinary young women. I think that will be my second career.
Jon, you were already the #1 pound-for-pound fighter before. You're a bit of a wild boy, and you've admitted that. How much better do you think you can get now that you are living clean, that you are so focused, that you are doing all these things?
I believe I can get much better. I think there's always room to improve, and there's so many categories of my game that are still fairly rookie, you know. My jiu-jitsu, you throw me in a jiu-jitsu tournament, probably wouldn't do the best. You know, you throw me in a boxing ring, I'm not going to do the best. The kickboxing ring, I may have my best chances there. Wrestling, high-level wrestlers, you know, I'm really not the best at anything. I'm just really good at merging the sport and merging all the different sports together. So in the individual crafts, there's a lot of work I can do. Even in my physical fitness, you know, there's higher levels of cardio and different things I can learn. Nutrition, there's things that I've been learning about and things like that. So I'm excited to care more. I'm excited to know now that I care more, and I'm excited to learn more and see it all translate over these next few years.
Jon, you said yesterday that you're trying to it was kind of hard to be a Jon Jones fan, but is this part of a distraction to you? I mean, is this part of the preparation and you kind of earning the naysayers back that
no,
doubted you?
No, it's not a distraction. You know, it's not a distraction. you know, I've been living this whole storyline every day, so I'm just very familiar with everything, and so I don't look at it as a distraction at all. I just look at it as a part of my story, part of my journey. It's, if anything, a little added motivation. Is that it?
You wanted to fight in UFC 200. Was there
No, there hasn't been anyone reaching out offering UFC 200. I think, you know, the smartest thing to do for me and the UFC is worry about this fight and to see what happens after.
What would be bigger, Jon? Headlining UFC 200 or headlining Madison Square Garden?
Ooh. I think headlining UFC 200 will be bigger. I mean, that's a huge card, lots of great talents. I think the numbers are going to be tremendous, and as far as, you know, pay-per-view, we're talking pay-per-view, I think 200 would be the bigger opportunity. And that's why I'm trying to get on it. But the Garden's good too. I'll take the Garden in a heartbeat.
You talk about your brothers always having your back. There's a couple of the press conferences and whatnot. Obviously, that you guys being really competitive growing up probably fuels a lot of where you are today. Can you give us one crazy story that happened that a dude?
Crazy story?
Yeah.
There was a time me, Arthur, and Chandler got in a fight. Me and Chandler ended up jumping Arthur, and we held him down. He was wedged between a wall and the bed, and we held him down for almost about an hour straight. You know, just punching him and you know, choking him and, you know, just beating his ass, quite frankly.
How mad was he when he got up?
He was so mad. I remember we got him to a point where he was so exhausted that I had to hold him for a minute by myself, and I told Chandler, I said, you go open the front door. I'm gonna let him go. We're gonna get out of here. Chandler opened the door. It's open. We go take it off down the street. Arthur comes out crying and sweaty and just so pissed off. And, you know, all the time when Arthur talks trash to either me or Chandler, we'll remind him, you don't want your little brothers, man. We're a vicious team. We do more together. So that's one of the little stories I got for you. Doing media sober is not hard at all. I've always done media sober.
But no, I meant like as in having sobriety right now.
Oh. If anything, doing media I find is a lot easier because, you know, I'm giving you guys for probably the first time in my career my raw self and not really worrying about hiding anything or trying to sugarcoat anything. I feel more free now than ever. I feel more open and honest with myself and with you guys, and it makes everything a lot easier.
How much did it weigh on you then, you know, before to try to balance, you know, what you said and your actions? I guess if you're saying now you're being, you know, open and honest and raw.
Right.
Was it like a battle for you mentally to kind of weigh that?
No, it wasn't a battle at all. It was fairly simple to try to put on a character and a personality that was a little bit better than who I actually am. You know, at the end of the day, when I'm doing media or when I'm at a UFC event, I'm working, so I have my work hat on, and so, you know, I will put my best foot forward at work, and I would just kind of hope and pray that I didn't get caught up in my personal life.
Jon, what about you know maintaining that public image? Because I know it was important to you before, you know,
right,
how people portrayed you. Now, you know, probably when you go out, you get the sense of how people see you and they see things that have happened that have been revealed publicly. Is that kind of difficult for you to know, like, this is what people see when they see me sometimes?
Yeah, no, it's not difficult because, you know, my image of myself is very strong. I believe I have a lot of confidence. I have a lot of confidence. You know, young, very successful, and one of the greatest to ever do what I do. So I don't really allow some of my downfall to affect my self-esteem or how I feel about myself. At the end of the day, I'm aware that everybody in life have let themselves down, and at the end of the day, 99.9% of the people on this planet are hurting. There's something in their personal life that they're not proud of, and so knowing that, you know, you just can't allow someone else's energy to affect yours. If anything, if someone lashes out at me in a negative way or feel the need or the right to give me any type of negative energy, you know, ultimately it's coming from some type of hurricane that they're feeling in their lives, and you almost feel more sad for them than to allow them to actually bring you down. No, I'm not immune to emotions or whatnot, but to let it actually affect me in the long haul, you know, it can annoy you for a second, and then you spit it out and realize that it's more about them than you.
It might be a very weird thing, but since it was a different type of situation, but you know, Tiger Woods had this public image, and then everything kind of came out publicly, and then after that he stopped winning tournaments.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that was a mental thing or other things.
Don't you put that voodoo on me?
Have you thought about that though? That you had, you know, a public image and you had a private life, and now everything's out there, and it's kind of different.
You know, you can't really compare me to Tiger Woods because I've been messing up a lot longer. You know, I had DWI in 2012, continue to win championships. You know, I've had a lot of things happen throughout my life where I've had some major setbacks, and I still have been able to perform at work. So I don't really look at this as a Tiger Woods moment of having some drama and sinking from that point forward.
How excited are you now to, you know, to be back and to be talk us off all this other stuff?
That was a terrible quote. You can't compare me to Tiger Woods because I've been messing up a lot longer. That's just a shitty thing to say.
Is it worse than you worshiping or you respecting balls yesterday?
Respecting balls, that was pretty bad too. No one wrote on that.
You asked somebody not to?
Yeah, so thank you guys.
What was the most difficult part though, like during all this process? Was like the time outside the cage? Was like all the criticism on the internet or people talking about you?
What was the toughest part about it all?
Yes.
The toughest part about it all is just coming to the reality, you know, realizing when it's just you by yourself, when you look yourself in the mirror, you're realizing, God darn it, man, maybe I'm being a piece of shit. You know, that's that moment when you really realize, okay, I'm ruining myself, I'm ruining my life, dude, I'm an asshole, you know, and really getting comfortable with that, and really realizing, you know, that your piece of shit qualities is making the people around you suffer, you know. Coming to that, you know, honest place in your life when you're like, man, I need to change. You know, that's probably those are the tough moments. You know, you start to question, you know, who you are, and it's like, man, you know, we all like to think of ourselves as good people, but you know, it's like, man, I hit someone in my car and I took off running. You know, that was a terrible thing to do. You know, some moments like that, it's just like, they set you free, you know, when you really swallow moments like that and become upset by moments like that and vow to yourself that you're going to be better than that. And, yeah, you know, I'm better than that. And, you know, now I have a long time to prove that I'm better than that.
Jones, you said you improved yourself in the last year. What's the best part of Jones now? What's the best part of you?
I mean, I'm probably beating a dead horse, but it's just clear thinking, sobriety. That's what I'm most proud of right now in my life. It's something that I haven't had in my adult life, and that's what I'm most proud of. It really makes me feel good. It makes me feel like I have a belt, the belt of life, the belt of health. You know, I'm fortunate, man. There's a lot of people who party and stuff and they lose their mind. You know, so I was able to party with the best of them and make it out of that alive and still well and healthy in my right mind. And you know, just grateful for it.
Man, if you would think in your life like a movie, what title would it be?
A movie?
Or autobiography?
Unbroken. That's what the movie should be called. Unbroken.
That one's taken.
Well, Unbroken.
Can you fix it?
Jon, what does the rest of the year look like for you if you win on Saturday night? What's the ideal situation?
Ideal situation would be to win on Saturday night and to turn around and fight at UFC 200 or Madison Square Garden, get my belt back, and continue doing right, getting right back in the gym, trying to do some more visits with the youth. I think that would be great. You know, I really don't count a lot of the community service stuff that I've done because it's been community service work. So far I've done like 4 appearances with the youth past my community service, just to continue to do it, and I want to continue to do it. I want to do it now because I have a passion for it and I realized that I'm really good at it. And I want to get off of probation. I want to drive my car again.
How good a driver is nutrition?
Nutrition? He's awesome. He's awesome. Right now I'm 10 pounds overweight. I'm fully hydrated. I had a huge breakfast and I feel great. I don't feel like my face is sucked in too bad. I feel great. He's done a tremendous job.
Jon, when we came to see you in Albuquerque, it was a month ago. You were very much at peace then, and you said you were confident of handling anything that kind of came into your path. As the fight has gotten closer, has that become more difficult? Obviously, you start thinking more about the fight, you have other distractions.
Yeah, no, I don't feel as if anything's become more difficult with the fight being closer. You know, I've been in the game for a long time, so I'm definitely a veteran, and if anything, you know, I'm just being reminded of fight week and just embracing it, taking it all in, remembering to have fun. You know, I've never lost, and so it's important for me to like just really enjoy the whole process and assume that I'm going to win again, because that's the only thing I've ever done. So when you know that, it's just like, you know what, John, get ready to win on Saturday night, but enjoy every single bit of being here in Vegas with your friends and your coaches and your loved one. You know, enjoy the opportunity to speak directly to the fans right now. You know, enjoy it all.
How's that English accent coming along? Still working on it?
I'm having quite a bubble, yeah.
Yeah. You remember that?
I do remember.
John, Daniel Cormier in his last few fights has had a message for you.
You're cute and all, but he started first.
Daniel Cormier has had a message for you after his last few fights, every time that he's won. Have you got something similar stored up with him on a Saturday night?
No, I wouldn't give him the satisfaction. You know, I'm getting ready to fight for an interim title. I'm getting ready to show up in front of my fans for the first time in over a year, and to give Daniel a glimpse of that light and that energy and that positive moment in my life, it'd be silly. I'm not gonna. It's promoting him. You know, he doesn't deserve it.
And one last one from me. You said that you're going to be fighting this weekend because of the fans. You wanted to do it for them. Have you got one last message before we step in there on Saturday?
One last message to my fans. You know, a tremendous thank you so much. You know, I went to the open workout yesterday, and you know, one of the UFC staff members said, "John, that was the loudest we've seen the fans all day." You know, and that means so much to me that they haven't forgotten all the good moments that we've had together, and you know, just the messages I get on Twitter and Instagram. Just there's some people out there who really love me a lot, and it's just an amazing feeling to have, and I want to do right by it. So I just thank them so much, and I love my fans so much. Without them, you know, who knows if I would have made it back. So I love my fans, and thank you.
Why should fans believe that you're not going to get into any more trouble?
I never said I wasn't going to get in any more trouble.
It's not that.
I'm just going to try my best not to.
How important is a win to bring back some of that normalcy to your life, to get that title?
Oh, getting the title is going to be, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. You know, I feel like the champion, and to get that actual title back, you know, just legitimize my feelings. So it's very, very important to me.
Jon, what's been made this week are the commitments that are required of you guys as elite fighters, especially with what McGregor has said. The interactions I've had with you, you've done that kind of stuff willingly. How do you feel about it? Is it a chore? Does it kind of grate on you when you're trying to prepare for a fight? Or
what's your exact question? I'm sorry.
So McGregor's made a big deal about the time that you guys have to put into publicising fights and give to the UFC.
Right.
When I've interacted with you, that hasn't seemed to be a problem. It's something you recognise as part of the job.
Well, I can't really put myself in Conor's shoes. He is he does a tremendous amount of media. Him and Ronda Rousey, they do a lot of media. So, you know, I don't know how he's feeling. Maybe it's a little too much. At the same time, you know, we get paid millions and millions of dollars to show up a few hours. You know, today I have media for an hour, and then I got maybe another hour later. I mean, when you think about how much you're working compared to how much you're getting paid, you know, we have a great job. So you know, there's pros and cons, and I understand his feelings, but at the same time, we we do have a great job that pays us really well.
The title interim, have you come to terms with that?
Yeah, I've come to terms with the interim title. You know, I look at it as a tremendous step to get into my ultimate goal, just to get my actual title back. And I'm excited for it. I'm excited for the interim title. I'm excited to get the real title. I'm just enjoying the whole process.
When you walked out with the belt at the Unstoppable press conference, what was the purpose of that?
I knew DC would hate it.
Did you think it was disrespecting the belt?
No, it's not disrespecting anything. I'm a rightful champion. You know, I took myself out of competition, but you know, when I die, I'll die a champion. And I feel like I can always bring that belt out.
Do you think that did get under his skin?
Oh, it definitely got under his skin for sure. He mentioned it in the press conference. You know, it just shows this kid doesn't. You know, he doesn't take responsibility. He's wearing that belt. Oh, no. I'm wearing that belt because I beat your ass a few months ago.
Was that a replica belt or was that one of your old belts?
It was a replica belt. I had to pull some strings.
Hey, John, I was going to say, go back.
I think he said it.
Yeah, everybody speaks about Cormier now and even talking about Conor McGregor, whatever, but do you think is your concentration fully on your opponent?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. My concentration is 100% on Ovince St. Preux. Obviously, you know, I'm a UFC fan as well, and I'm aware of what's going on in the sport, but it doesn't take more than 5 minutes of my day to think about what's going on with everybody else. The other, you know, 24 hours is focused on my fight, focused on why I'm actually here.
You think about, like, in his position, nobody gives him any chance whatsoever defeating you. That could almost make him more dangerous.
Absolutely. That's why I have to take him so seriously. It's because no one gives him a chance, you know, except for me. You know, I know in order to become a top 10 fighter in the world, you got to have some talents, you got to have some gifts, and this guy has made it this far. And you know, you see these huge upset stories all the time, and you know, my physical ability is one reason why I'm a champion, but my mind towards this game, towards sports, I respect it, and I know better. I know better than to take someone lightly. You know, my dad used to say to me growing up, he said, never let a fish off the hook. You know, when you get a fish on your hook, you reel his ass in. You don't let him swim around. You know, you get that net ready, you get him out of the water as soon as possible. And that's what I'm going to do with him. You know, I'm not calling him a fish with all respect, but you know, I'm going to try to put him out as soon as possible. There's no playing games. You know, I respect this guy.
John, when I asked you yesterday about Conor McGregor retiring, you said he's not retiring. A day and a half later, he's not retiring.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, of course he's not retiring. No way, no way. I even thought about retiring for a split second. You know, when I was going through all my drama and throughout my darkest days, and then I thought about it. It's like, you know, man, what a waste of a story. What a waste of inspiration and motivation for others. Like, you know, it's like God gave us these gifts, man. We got to use these things. And so, yeah, that was easy. I knew he wasn't retiring.
Going back to this guy's question with how the UFC's grown and obligations, media obligations, and being part of corporate America, don't you almost have to do those kind of things now? I mean,
you got to do it. You got to do it. You know, Dana White, one of his favorite quotes is to me, or I'm not sure who else he says it to. He said, Floyd Mayweather doesn't become Floyd Mayweather without doing a tremendous amount of media. I mean, that's why the world knows who he is. If you go to one of his open workouts, you know, he'll let, you know, camera guys stacked on top of each other watching Floyd Mayweather box for an open workout. You know, he's like, you got to embrace the media. You got to learn how to use the media in the way, you know, to get the message that you're trying to get out, you know. And at this point in my career, I'm really embracing that. I'm really realizing the importance of media.
What were your thoughts? How grueling are those to actually?
They're grueling. They're grueling. They're really grueling, and it can be distracting at times. You know, you're talking about your fight, your opponent's listening to your interviews, getting a better understanding for your psychology. You know, a lot of things you want to try to keep yourself mysterious and stuff like that. And the more interviews you do, you're giving out your psychology. You're getting asked a lot of the same questions. Your workout schedule's altered. Your eating patterns become altered. you feel sidetracked from, you know, why you're actually there. You know, at the end of the day, we're doing a physical competition, and you feel like you're being a star, and you're doing all this, you know what I'm saying, all this stuff that really has nothing to do with the actual fight, you know, so it can be distracting, but at the same time, it's a part of what we do, just like the weight cut. You know, you gotta just embrace it all, and the more you get comfortable with what you're doing, you know, the whole process, you know. Yeah, we should get paid for our time. Let's all get paid to media. I think we are paid for our time, you know, especially us high-level fighters. We make millions of dollars, and you know, a part of that is the actual performance. But you know, getting viewers to tune in is also, you know, a big part of the game.
What were your thoughts today with Prince passing away in his 50s?
Man, so sad. So sad to see a legend and an icon go down. You know, I hope his family are doing as best as they can, and rest in peace. He was truly one of the greats.
Okay, about the greatest, who do you think is the greatest fighter of the whole time in the UFC?
Greatest fighter ever? I would have to say Anderson Silva. Anderson Silva, or myself, if I could say that.
Jon, I'm sorry for asking this, but I smoked cigars for 10 years. And when I quit for 6 months, I couldn't stop thinking about it. How is that the process for you? I mean, cleaning your body and cleaning your mind.
The process, you know, honestly, it went really smoothly for me. The first week or so, maybe 2 weeks, I found myself getting irritated and aggravated, and you know, you fight through that. You keep yourself busy, work out, you know, be active, get out of the house, and you know, those feelings slowly start to subside, and you find yourself sober and free. That's the way it worked for me, anyways.
Do you want to be a kind of idol for people, you know, who have this kind of issue?
You know, if someone can draw strength from my story, that's good, but at the same time, you know, sobriety is something you take day by day, so I don't want to put any pressure on myself to have to do too much for I don't want to put any pressure on myself. I don't want to put, you know, any expectations. All I want to do is take it one day at a time, and you know, fight for myself. And if someone else finds strength through my story, then that's a bonus.
It's been a longer kind of layoff for you. Is there a difference in that? The fact that, like, are you more hungry to get back in there?
No, I'm not more hungry to get back in there. Let me see here. These bright lights are starting to get to me. I think I need coffee. Yeah. Thank you, D. Ask your question again.
The fact that it's been a slightly longer layoff, does it, like I said, did it make you more hungry to get back in there?
Well, you know, I'm always hungry. I'm always hungry. Every fight to me is a really big fight. You know, I'm fighting for a legacy. You know, I want to go down as the greatest ever, and that's some really high goals in this game. So I'm really always hungry. I don't really feel any more hungry. I have different motivation. Every storyline has its own different motivations. But as far as my hunger, you know, it's always there. You know, when I'm not hungry anymore is when I'll start to think about real estate and things like that.
You mentioned UFC 200 or Madison Square Garden. Can you see a scenario where you fight?
Man, that's some serious activity. No, really one or the other.
And if you do fight UFC 200, I know you're focused on your opponent. Who do you see as being some options?
Thank you, sweetie. Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier is what I would want to do. That's what I foresee.
The only one. What if say he is can't get healthy?
It would be Daniel Cormier. That's what I want to do. Daniel Cormier was supposed to be here this week, and if he's not healthy, then I'm just gonna hang out and wait. But He's supposed to be healthy within 4 weeks. I'm pretty sure that's what his doctor has said. So, thank you so much.
Jon, you hear a lot of guys talking about training to be the best version of them, whereas, you know, your camp, they focus on the specific opponent. So is that going to be a shift from your camp going forward?
Say that again.
Like, you know, a lot of guys, they say that I'm training to be, you know, perhaps like the best Conor McGregor ever. We hear a lot from Jackson's fighters that they train specific opponents. So where's the shift between, you know, taking a short notice fight, preparing to be the best Jon Jones versus preparing against a specific OSP?
Well, we do both. You know, I work on some techniques and some things that really have nothing to do with Ovens. And, you know, I work on things to this day that's just about my personal growth and development as a fighter. And then, you know, we also do things that are tailor-made for Ovens. Right now, most of the things we do are tailor-made for Ovens. But, you know, we're just confident in our abilities to improvise, and you know, we're just a really strong team, and you know, we believe that at the end of the day, with our level of experience, we'll be able to act and react if there's curveballs thrown and things like that. You know, we're just ready. We're ready for everything.
So ideally, would you like to, you know, ideally have full camps every time around, or is this short notice thing just a one-time thing to get back in action?
Yeah. You know, I took this fight on short notice, but definitely, I don't want the fans to be under the wrong impression that I'm just going to be this guy who fights anyone, anywhere, anytime. That's just not my style at all. I look at fighting as a test. You know, the guys who study and they know what they're getting themselves into, they tend to do well. You know, if you look at, you know, stats, you know, statistics or whatnot, the odds are just better. You know, odds are better when you study. So I like to give myself the best odds by being mentally prepared for what I'm getting into. So I'll do it this time, but don't get used to it.
Your opponent's sitting just a couple of feet away over there. When you look over at him, what do you see?
You know, I see a young man out here enjoying the opportunity that he has, embracing it, embracing it, going through the necessary emotions and, doing what I'm doing, Ovens has a lot of experience. He's been in this game. He knows what this is. It's a media day. Stay calm, cool, collected, chill out, and, get ready for the show on Saturday.
You mentioned the late notice opponent change is not something anyone wants, but how important was it for you, given everything that's going on, to stay on the card this weekend?
It was very important for me to stay on this card. I felt like me walking away from the card would just be one more letdown for my fans, and one maybe I can't afford. So.
And how have you found the preparation
between taking this fight on short notice versus
Showson fight was 8 days, which was just way too close. And in this situation, we had 3 weeks. So that's working room. 3 weeks to prepare. If you give it enough time and energy, it should be plenty. So that's what we wanted to do. All right, guys, I'm all set.
Thanks, Jon.
Thanks, guys.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah. Take care.
Did you see the piece yet?
Huh? Yes, yeah, I was very happy with it. Yes.
Good man, I'm happy with that.
Thank you so much, man.
It was fun day, mate.
Great work.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, mate.
I thought it was honest and it really portrayed me in a positive light.
Because you're honest.
Oh, yeah.
So we appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'll see you again. We'll have a chat more after the fight. I know you've got a big thing to prepare for.
Yeah, I got coffee in my hand. Yeah, I just wanted to shake it. Be good.